Welcome to the Explainer. You know, the ground beneath our feet, it's not just sitting there, all static and boring. No way! It's constantly being pushed, pulled, and worn away. And that whole process creates the incredible landscapes that define our world. So today, we're going on a journey across the major landforms of Earth, from the highest peaks all the way down to the flattest plains.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? If you look at our planet, it's not some smooth, perfect sphere. It's got this incredible, almost infinite variety of shapes. We're talking rugged mountains, high plateaus, and these huge, sprawling plains. And it all comes down to these super powerful forces that are always at work, both deep inside the planet and right here on the surface.
So, here's the game plan for our trip. First, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the forces that shape everything. Then, we'll start our journey way up high in the mighty mountains, come down to the vast plateaus, and then explore the fertile plains. And finally, we'll tie it all together and see how these incredible landscapes actually shape our lives.
All right, first things first. We have to understand these two basic processes that are in a constant tug of war, literally reshaping the ground we walk on every single day.
Think of it like a planet-sized construction project that never ends. On one side, you have these powerful internal forces deep within the Earth, pushing the crust up, building mountains, and creating new land. But at the exact same time, on the other side, you've got external forces right on the surface. We're talking water, wind, and ice that are working 24/7 to wear that very same land back down through erosion. It's this amazing back and forth that sculpts everything we see.
So, with that in mind, let's start our journey at the highest points on the planet, the absolutely magnificent and imposing mountains.
Okay, so what actually makes a mountain a mountain? Well, technically, it's any natural part of the Earth's surface that rises way higher than the area around it. They usually have a pretty broad base and a much smaller top or summit. The general rule of thumb is anything over 600 meters tall. But as we're about to see, how they get that high is where the really interesting story is.
And it turns out there are three main ways mountains come to be, and their names give us a huge clue as to how they're formed. We've got fold mountains, block mountains, and of course, volcanic mountains.
This image just illustrates the first type perfectly. Fold mountains, like the famous Himalayas and the Alps, are what happen when the Earth's giant tectonic plates smash into each other. All that incredible pressure basically squashes the Earth's crust, causing it to buckle and fold upwards. It's exactly like taking a stack of paper and pushing it from both sides.
Next up, we have block mountains. For these, imagine the Earth's crust cracking and breaking into these enormous blocks. When things shift around, some of those blocks get pushed way up and others drop way down. The parts that get shoved up are called horsts. Those are your mountains. And the parts that drop down, creating valleys, those are called graben. A classic example is the Rhine Valley in Europe.
And finally, we get to the explosive creators, volcanic mountains. Think of iconic peaks like Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa or Mount Fujiyama in Japan. These giants are built up, layer by painstaking layer, from countless eruptions of lava, ash, and rock over millions of years.
But okay, get ready for a mind-blowing fact. What if I told you the highest mountain on Earth isn't Mount Everest? It's true. When you measure from its base deep on the ocean floor all the way to its peak, the tallest is actually Mauna Kea in Hawaii. It's a massive undersea volcano, and it measures a staggering 10,205 meters. That's more than a full kilometer taller than Everest.
You know, even though the climate up there is harsh, mountains are unbelievably important to us. They're basically the world's water towers. Their glaciers feed the rivers that provide fresh water to billions of people, and that water is absolutely crucial for farming and for generating hydroelectricity. Plus, they're hotspots for plants and animals, and of course, they're amazing places for tourism and all kinds of sports. All right, from the tippy tops of the world, our journey now takes us down to the next major landform, these vast, elevated flatlands we call plateaus. The best way to think of a plateau is like a giant tabletop for the Earth. It's a huge area of high, flat land that just rises up, often really sharply, from the area around it. Some of these are incredibly old, like the Deccan Plateau in India, which is one of the most ancient on the entire planet. And the scale of these things can just be breathtaking. You've got the huge East African Plateau, but the king of them all is the Tibet Plateau. People call it the roof of the world for a reason. It is the highest and the largest plateau on Earth, sitting at an average height of over 4,500 meters. I mean, that's more than half the height of Everest, but stretching for thousands of kilometers. It's just massive. Now, these tabletops are basically treasure chests. A lot of plateaus are incredibly rich in mineral deposits. We're talking gold, diamonds, iron, you name it. Those steep sides I mentioned, they create massive waterfalls that are perfect for generating hydroelectric power. And plateaus that were formed by ancient lava flows often have this amazing black soil that is incredibly fertile, which makes them prime spots for farming.
Okay, our journey's final leg follows the rivers as they flow down from the mountains and plateaus to the single most populated landform on Earth, the plains.
Here's the cool part. Plains are literally built from the mountains. It works like this. Over thousands and millions of years, rivers wear away rock and soil from up high. They carry all that material, silt, sand, stones, downstream. Eventually, the river slows down and drops all that material in valleys and along its course. And over a very long time, all those deposits build up to form these huge, flat, and super fertile plains.
So we're talking about these really low-lying areas, usually not more than about 200 meters above sea level. Some of the world's biggest river systems have created the largest plains, like the Indo-Gangetic Plains in India or the ones formed by the Yangtze River in China. It's no surprise they became the cradles of human civilization. So why are plains where most people live? Well, it just comes down to simple logistics. The flat land makes it super easy to build homes, towns, and cities. The soil, which is constantly being enriched by those river deposits, is perfect for growing tons of food. And let's be honest, it's way easier to build roads, railways, and airports across a flat plain than it is to build them over a mountain.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and bring this all home. Let's reflect on how these different landforms directly shape how we humans live and the responsibilities that come with that deep connection.
You can really see how our geography kind of writes our destiny. Life in the mountains is tough. You've got difficult construction, harsh weather, and not a lot of land for farming, which is why they tend to have smaller populations. But down on the plains, it's a completely different story. The land is stable, fertile, and flat. It's the perfect foundation for big farms, huge cities, and massive populations.
But here's the thing. For all that these landforms give us, we can be pretty rough on them in return. Sometimes we build our cities right on top of the most fertile farmland, or we pollute the very rivers that created the plains in the first place. And that brings us to a really important thought about our role as caretakers of this amazing planet. From the water that flows down from the mountains to the food we grow on the plains, the land shapes every single part of our lives. It dictates where we live, what we can build, and how we thrive. So the huge question we're left with isn't just how the Earth shapes us, but how we're going to choose to shape the Earth in return. Thanks for watching.